Live here.
Live!
But we don't have to necessarily know what that means.
What's the someday of blank?
I don't
there's
know
a
that we
reason
want
this
to-
story happens now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the movie writes itself. Ooh.
I'm still streaming. How do I stop streaming? No!
I have a mouthful of cereal.
Jake has a mouthful of food. Good
I do.
morning. Good morning on a Monday. Here we are.
And we haven't actually spoken yet. Normally, we have a few minutes before. I was coming back from the gym. Ben's away and like, come on, what's going on? So, good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Yes. You know, our it's funny. I guess a decent topic for today. First of all, welcome to Ben and Jake Write a Movie.
Yes.
Our podcast.
Hello.
And I just want to say it is episode 25.
Wow, we've done a whole day of this stuff. If we'd had no sleep, we'd have done a whole day.
We've done 24 hours, and now we are into the 25th hour.
There you go. The 25th hour. That's it's a good name for a movie.
25th hour. Here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, it's a good a good segue into our kind of businessy topic this morning, which is, you know, Mondays and coming back from weekends and setting goals and intentions.
That's a very good point.
And,
yes, I think that's a good topic. Yes.
You know, I think that it's very easy.
What do we normally do? Let's talk about what we normally do. And we've
Sure.
kind of gotten into the habit of doing this, and I think it's been good. So, first of all, in screenwriting, it can feel sometimes like no progress is being made.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're waiting for other people to do things, which happens at a point in a project. There may be a project out in the world, several projects out in the world, and you're just kind of going, what's happening with that?
And it can feel very stagnant. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it can feel very, very frustrating as a screenwriter.
Mm-hmm.
So what Ben and I have taken to doing is saying, well, what would progress feel like this week? We do it on a Monday and we map, and sometimes there are several projects that we talk about what that would be. What does that look like? What does progress on this look like? And sometimes it's on a script in which you can say, well, I'd like to have done this. I'd like to have gotten this part, the outline, etc., etc. But I think it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, we keep a running list of the projects that we have going on in the various stages where they are. And, you know, I think that no matter where you're at in your screenwriting career, that list could be long, it could be short, it could be one project if that's all you have time to do. But keep updating that project and go, where am I today?
Yeah.
Where would I like to be at the end of the week? And it doesn't necessarily mean you'll get there, but it gives you a goal. And then you can look at it and go, well, if I got there, yay, I'm excited. Yeah. And if I didn't get there, why didn't I get there? And how can I be better next week? Maybe I didn't set a realistic goal.
Totally.
You know.
Now, I'll also say, you know, Ben and I have both read the book Atomic Habits recently by James Clear. We both enjoyed it enormously. And one of the things that he talks about in that book is rather than being output oriented, is being input oriented. So rather than saying to yourself, I want, let's just say, act 1 finished this week, or I want my outline finished this week, or a set specific target. It might be, I am going to write 20 hours on my project, 10 hours, 5 hours, whatever it is, whatever you can do. That way, rather than being like, oh, I'm going to set this target and I might feel bad if I fail.
Right.
I might feel bad if I fail, if I don't reach a specific target in terms of, oh, I need that. Well, like you might be writing Act 1 and come across a problem that you hadn't anticipated. Totally. And then you haven't finished Act 1 that week. And that happens all the time. But if you say, oh, I'm going to write for 10 hours, I'm going to write for 12 hours, I'm going to, whatever it is, you are input oriented rather than output oriented. And I personally found that to be very, very helpful. And also sometimes you and me set output goals as well. You know, it's like
I mean, I do think, look, it depends on whether you're on a deadline. It depends on what's going on in your life. It depends on what you want to challenge yourself for. But I think Monday mornings are a good time to kind of assess, how did you do last week? Where are you at? Where are each of your projects at? And what do you want to do moving forward? I also think it's a good check-in time to kind of remind yourself, okay, you know, this career and this process is going to be challenging, and there are going to be weeks where you're really frustrated. And I think, we try to go, the phrase that I think you use a lot is, how will we feel at the end of the week if we do blank? What will make us feel good about this week?
Yes.
And usually,
what does success look like?
What does success look like for this week? And it doesn't have to be big.
No, it doesn't.
Because if it's small, then you're going to reward yourself for feeling good and going, I did what I wanted to do this week. And actually, you got to celebrate the small successes. The big ones don't always happen as
the big ones are elusive, and the big ones are so often out of your control.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing that's important about this kind of habit of going, what do I want to do this week, is really looking at, well, what do I have control over? We very frequently have discovered that, and the reason I say very frequently is because we forget it and then we rediscover it, and then we forget it and then we rediscover it. Going, what do I have control over and what don't I have control over? And when you do have control over something, do it.
Yes. Absolutely. Exercise that control.
And that is not only empowering, but it helps kind of with the depression of feeling completely out of control, the anxiety of feeling out of control. This profession and this craft, it involves a lot of things that you have no control over.
A lot of moving parts. Yeah.
One thing you have control over is how many hours you put in over the week. And to a certain degree what your schedule is, and you can say, I'm going to write this many hours a week, and you have a way, you have control over that. You have control over checking in with producers, agents, managers specifically, and understanding where their strengths lie and how to nudge gently and politically to move those forward. You don't have control over what they do with that.
Right.
You have control over sending those emails.
Making those calls. Yeah.
You have control over choosing which projects you're going to focus on that week, choosing which assignments you may go out for. All of these small pieces of control are important in this elusive career where we have so little control. So, I think the biggest thing that we have control over is, what are we going to write?
Absolutely right. Completely agree.
And don't let someone take that control away from you.
Yeah. It's interesting because last week, we had a very busy week last week. In fact, we didn't do our show for a few days last week because we were so busy. Yeah. We had 2 open writing assignments at big studios. One was at Disney, one was at Universal. And these are basically,
and a third one that was submitted to us.
And a third one that was submitted to us. And we had to make a decision. We liked both of these. We liked both of these things. And also it was a choice. It was, are we going to choose to do this, or are we going to choose to do that? Now, I think that we felt that the our cost benefit ratio wasn't going to be crazy, because they were both kind of loose meetings. But one was
definitely more of a full.
One was definitely more of a full. But it was yes, sure.
One was an initial pitch that was intended to kind of give a sense of where we were at.
Sure.
And that reminds me also, we did have a request to do a couple of episodes on pitching, and there are so many different types of pitching.
Maybe we'll do a special episode or a couple of episodes about that.
Yeah, I think
maybe we'll plan that.
I think we absolutely should, because there's so many different ways to do it. Yeah,
it was a choice last week. Are we going to spend time on our own projects, or are we going to spend time on these open writing assignments? We felt, and we talked about, that going after these writing assignments was good. It was good for multiple reasons. It was good to establish relationships with producers, with studios. Those are benefits. You are meeting people. It's almost like having a general, and a general at Disney, awesome, I'll take that. A general at Universal, awesome. Those kinds of things. And then doing our best work. And people said in those meetings, thank you so much. We can tell you've taken time to really fully get these ideas.
Hopefully they were telling the truth.
Hopefully they were telling the truth, but at least they said it. They didn't not say it.
That's true. That's true. They didn't say, well told.
Well told. Great. We're going to go away and discuss it.
On either one, actually. We didn't get a well told.
No, we didn't get a well told.
Maybe they weren't well told.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there is a kind of an in-joke amongst the screenwriters that if you hear the words "well told" at the end of your pitch, it means you haven't sold it. I don't think
that's not 100%.
It's not 100% true, but
kind of a joke because you hear it so frequently.
Yeah, right. Well told,
and the number of times you sell something are so.
Yeah, I know totally. Yeah.
So, it's like,
but anyway,
which is
Coming back to our concept of going, how are you spending your time? What does success look like?
Well, that was Monday morning last week. We had to assess. We look. I have a 2-week-old infant, and the plan.
And his name's Jake.
And his name's Jake, and he doesn't age. He's been 2 weeks old for 14 years.
I know exactly right. Yeah.
But the plan initially was not to do quite as full a week as it was. But we had to, we had our Monday morning talk, and we said, look, we have 5 meetings this week, which it ended up being 6. And where are we going to put our time and energy? And it was important last week to do all of those. Now, every week is going to be different, and our lives, everybody's life, especially when you're starting out, is crazy. And these choices are important. One of the things, our mentor, we have a wonderful mentor, Matthew Sand, great writer, who said to us once, our career will be defined by the no's that we say more than the yeses. I try to remember that as much as possible, and yet at the same time, there is a certain amount of needing to say yes, at least to the initial stages of these kind of open writing things. When you're presented with these opportunities, you want to be presented with more.
And that's it.
And it's a really tough choice.
You hopefully will have an agent at some point who is out there making these calls and getting these meetings for you. If you say no to them enough, they're going to be like, well, I'm just not going to bother. Now, again, counterpoint to that. That might be because you're working on your own material.
And you may not want to do them.
You might not want to do them. I know,
want to go out for these jobs.
Go and have a little look on Daniel Kunker's Twitter page. He's a great, very successful writer. We've mentioned him a couple of times, and he has very strong opinions about open writing assignments. A
lot of people do.
A lot of people do, and I don't blame them because they are a lot of work. And I think, as we worked out the other day, we've gotten maybe 2 or 3.
Yeah, we've been successful at actually setting up. I think 4 open writing.
Okay.
I think it's been maybe only 3.
I think it's 3.
We did a great rewrite that was a really wonderful.
Well, it's 3, kind of 4, isn't it?
And then there's been a couple of TV projects that were open that we did book, and then another feature that was kind of a jump off of one of the TV projects that we were able to book as well.
Right.
And here's the thing about this, is kind of deviating from the initial conversation of Monday mornings, but just as a side note, open writing assignments. I think we could do an entire half hour on open writing assignments. It's nice to have a paycheck. Speccing is hard. Here we are in episode 25. We've put all these hours in. We haven't made a dime on this yet. This is all work that we are just doing. I mean, it's why it's called a spec. It's speculative. Now, the struggle is an open writing assignment job is also speculative until you get the job.
That's it. Yeah.
So but
it's funny though, isn't it? Because sometimes there isn't a paycheck at the end of an open writing assignment gig.
Well, I think there's 2 different kinds. I mean, there's a true OWA. There's the real deal OWA. And then there's the kind of half where like a producer has an idea or an IP and they want to find the writer to then go out to the town. I don't really see that as an open writing assignment. Sure. I see that as a producer looking for a writer.
Right.
There's a difference, It's like there's and we've been extremely picky in terms of those second kinds of the producer wants a writer, because that's a huge gamble, because there's not even a paycheck at the end of that.
Right. But I feel like I've heard of some examples where people pitched on a project and it was an open writing assignment, and then at the end of it, the studio just went, "Nah, not sure we even want to make this movie."
Well,
or a regime change might happen in the middle of this. All these things could happen.
In a way, we had a pitch for an open writing assignment. It was somewhere in between.
I know.
The studio had said, we want to make this movie.
Yeah.
So they said to the producer, in fact, this has happened to us twice.
It has.
We want to make this movie. The producer says, okay, we need a writer to go in and pitch on this movie, because we've already gotten the okay from the studio. So in that sense, you're not going out to buyers. You're going to a single buyer who has already said they want to make the movie.
Right.
You go into the producer. Luckily, you're the one that the producer chooses. They probably interviewed, 2 or 3 writers, unless you're high level and they go, actually, you're perfect, and would you put a take together? And you say yes.
Right.
And then you go in and you pitch your heart out, and they, one case they literally said yes, and in the other case they said, we're not sure. And then
PTSD.
And then both of them, the studio just decided, you know what, we're not going to make this movie.
There was one example where we went in, again, don't think it was completely an open writing, so it was based on a toy line.
I mean, it was. They had said, we want to make this.
Right. So that's one of them. So we went in, pitched, they loved it. They were like, basically said yes in the room. We came out high-fiving with the producers. Fantastic. It was really excellent. And then never got the offer. And we're waiting and waiting, only to discover that the company that was aligned with this toy line had decided to sell the rights to that toy line.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
stuff happens.
It happens.
Gambling, open writing assignments are a gamble. They're stressful. They're a lot of work. So back to the initial conversation. When you start your week, you have to look at, where do you want to put your time? Our manager has always kind of approached things, and I don't know, we've stayed with this advice and sometimes we haven't, but I think it's at least worth sharing, which is always have a spec that you're writing. Always have an original pitch that you're crafting. Hopefully you have an open writing assignment that you're going out for. And for us, because we're primarily features, something in the TV space that we're also working on. So you have at least 4 different things that you have going on at that same time. Now,
and we have that at the moment, actually, interestingly enough. We absolutely have got so many projects.
We have more than that at the moment. But yes, that's generally speaking, if you can find the time to be crafting a spec, a pitch, going for an open writing assignment, and having something, either if you're a TV writer, have something in features, or if you're a feature writer, have something in TV, because straddling both is really the way that you're going to succeed in this business right now. And I think that, when you look at your week, are you dedicating time to one of those at each in that section? And if you have more than one, which one are you dedicating? Sometimes, you and I will go, you know what? We're so close to finishing this one project. That this week we're going to put all the things aside. And we're just going to focus on this one thing. And I think Monday mornings are a great time to set aside and go, hey, we're starting work at 9 a.m. on Monday morning, or 9:30 or whenever, and let's decide what that week is going to look like. And that may change, but at least you have a plan of attack. So I think for this week, bringing it full circle now, for this week, Jake and I haven't even talked to each other yet this morning, but we have a few things on our plate that, some we can talk about, some we can't, but this podcast is currently the most active spec that we are working on at the time. We actually have 3 other specs that are
at various levels of development.
At different stages, that we're waiting on various other things, so we can't be writing them right now. So we have this spec, so we're going to dedicate our hour a day. Hopefully we get every day in there. I think we're going to.
Is there one day where we're not? No.
I think we did. I think we're going to do our hour a day on this spec.
Yeah.
The open writing assignments that we went out for, because we went out for 2 of them last week. I don't know if we'll.
I think there's anything
to do on any open writing assignments this week. I think that there is a third one that I have not finished the script on, so I'll probably try and read that script so that at least I'm prepared in that sense.
Yep.
We have now crafting a feature pitch. That's an interesting one. We actually don't have a feature pitch right now. It's a weird time.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because I think we've been kind of steered away from it, I think, given the nature of the industry at the moment. Now, you are starting to hear about feature pitches selling again.
Yeah.
They do have attachments. So maybe
I think the benefit of crafting a feature pitch always is that if you ever decide that it's not the right time to pitch it, you then have a full movie that you can spec, and you can spec it much quicker.
This is true.
So at some point, I would like to start us crafting a feature pitch as well. Maybe that's something we do on the podcast to a certain degree. That could be helpful with our pitching session.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? Because what we're doing at the moment in terms of the outline
is a lot of what we would do. It's a lot of what we would do.
Yeah,
not to the detail, but yes, it's a lot.
Yeah, not to the level of detail. It's not scene by scene.
Yeah,
but you would, maybe do one kind of aspect less of it.
Because of my new baby, I don't know that we'll have time to get to that.
I'm not sure I'll have time to do that
this week.
Yeah.
But we also have so what is that? We have a TV project that we're hoping to get to the point where we're about to take it out to the town.
Yeah, well, currently at the moment, our deal is being made. It's what's called an if-come deal.
Yeah,
I don't really know what that means, but basically, you probably, because you feel like you know more of these things than I do.
I mean, it literally is almost what it says. If you set this up at a distributor, this money will come back to you.
Right.
Basically is what it says. We have a project that we have set up at a studio that does not have its own distribution chain. They're still one of the very few studios, and if you're in the industry, you probably could guess which one they are. They're one of the very few studios that does not have their own network or streaming service. And so when you make a deal with them, it's usually going to be an if-come deal, meaning we are the studio and we would love to make this show, but we cannot make this show if it has nowhere to air. So now you have to go out into the world. You make your deal with the studio because they're the ones that are going to pay you. You make your deal, and then the deal is basically contingent on you finding a distributor. And it's a very tricky thing because a lot of distributors now want to own all of their own content. And yet, this is an expensive show. There are probably distributors out there that would love a nice, big, expensive science fiction show that they don't have to pay for, but can air and gain viewership off of. And that's the kind of situation that this would be. They would essentially be licensing from our studio the right to broadcast it. And so because of that, then we would get our deal. Anyway, point is, there's a little bit of work still to do on that pitch, but not much. So maybe we can get that finished this week, and that would be our TV thing. And I think that's probably our goals for the week. We have a big meeting tomorrow on one of our specs, and that may open up a huge can of worms. And those are the things that you cannot plan for. But Monday morning at 9:55 a.m., I think we have a nice what would make us feel good at the end of this week's strategy.
Yes.
So that being said, now let's continue on one of these items, which is our spec, which is what you're all here to watch and listen about. And we are getting so close, I feel, to the end of Act 1.
Yeah.
But every time we kind of dive into it, new discoveries appear. And this is the wonderful nature of screenwriting, whereby questions
probably any kind of
creators are probably any kind. Yeah. It's like as you write, or in this case, outline questions.
Yeah. you realize you haven't figured something out yet.
Yeah.
You go, oh, hang on, I don't know. Like the other week was a perfect example. And then there's a demon there. And it's like, well, what do the demons look like? Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
You know, what do they look like? Let's find this. Let's figure that out. You know?
So last week we ended on the moment in which our protagonist, Charlize, who's the demon, discovers that there's a demon in her little town and that's not normal. And so she interrogates this demon, who reveals to her that the Antichrist, or the bringer of doom, or whatever we end up deciding to call her,
Doombringer,
almost there. And as a result, the level of demonic energy in the world has grown, and thus it's easier for demons to come over to our side, and they are taking full advantage.
They are.
She goes and she figures out, and I can't remember if we've actually written that scene yet, but she figures out that Portland is the epicenter of this, and now she is going to head to Portland to find Sam. And the next sequence, which is going to be finally out of Act 1, is going to be, we're going to have to see Charlize find Sam. And that can be a very small couple of scenes. Probably a little beats of sequences of her in Portland doing whatever. We're going to have to figure out what she does to sense where demonic energy might be coming from. She's going to show up at Sam's house with the intention of, and we're going to learn, it's going to be kind of cool. We got to figure out, we're going to learn that actually her goal is to kill this girl.
Yeah.
And that when she can't do it, the only other option is that the demons are going to be coming for her. So she goes, okay, I'll try and save this girl. And then what happens? Hank shows up. We got a big fight with Hank, only to then have Hank come over to our side, somehow believing that Charlize is truthful, and that they're going to both team up now to save this girl from the demons that will be coming for her. Now, there's a lot of questions that I have about those.
Yeah, I know there are. It's,
it's
going to be complex to really get to the emotional logic of both, because presumably both of them are going there to go and kill her.
Yeah.
Charlize has a change of heart. I need to understand that change of heart. I need to understand how and why Hank has a change of heart based on being told this truth by a demon.
Right. And I need to understand what their motivation is in order to even get her. I mean, I guess the other demons must be approaching, and so it's going to be kind of the type of set piece where they escape. Maybe it's even a chase. And really, they don't have a full plan yet. They just know they can't let this girl fall into the hands of the demons.
Sure.
The first question that I have, and it's coming out of the kind of vagueness that the initial scene writing has left us with Charlize and who she is and what she wants. I don't yet understand how Sam fits into what Charlize wants at the beginning of this movie, and how the discovery of her being the bringer of doom
totally and it's
fits into that, and why she would then go after her, and how that killing her fits into that desire.
So as a demon, she knew the master plan, and it was what she was involved with for some time. She was involved with pulling the strings, making the moments happen that were going to plunge mankind into even more darkness and depression, and ultimately lead to the right set of circumstances for a person to be born on Earth who could become this being of ultimate darkness and bring doom and open the hellmouth and blah, 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 blah. She, at some point that we see, had a change of heart and went, you know what? This isn't the right thing to do. That's actually not who I am anymore. So in many ways, I think she's been waiting for and anticipating a moment when this might happen. Now, it was never going to happen on a set date at a set time. It's all been part of
thousands of years where it hasn't happened.
Totally.
So in theory, she probably believed that there was a good chance that this goal that they
might never
work.
Anyway, she goes to Walgreens to go and buy some peroxide and some bandages, and she finds she's had this experience in the shower whereby this wave of energy has hit her. She is now aware that the time is upon them, and she is going to stop it. Now,
why?
Because it's the same why as the why she no longer wanted to be a demon working for the demons. This is wrong.
Okay, so that feels like the first one where she's like, oh, there's a group of innocent school children here and I don't want to blow up a building. I get right away.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up against the demons as a whole, as an individual, and stop the master plan that they've been planning for 1,000 years.
Well, it's not I'm going to go up against them. I'm going to go and kill the Antichrist.
Right, but there has to be a knowledge that she's not the only one looking for her.
Sure.
I mean, she's not dumb. Zod is going to be there, right? Like, she knows that there's someone else that's going to try and get there first. And what are they going to do? They're going to try and capture her and then force her to fully grow into this
creature,
power of darkness.
Sure.
So not only does she have to do it, she has to do it fast.
Mm-hmm.
She has to do it, but by doing this, I mean, I guess
she doesn't know what she's
understand what her goal was at first. So for me, like the personal aspect of, I no longer want to be a demon. I want to be a person. Feels like, as we've talked about previously when we were doing character descriptions, it was the idea that her arc was going to be, I hate that I'm a demon because I want to be good, and I don't believe that that's possible because I'm a demon. Right? That no matter what, pain and suffering will follow me everywhere. Is what we had talked about.
Yes, yeah.
If she believes that if this Antichrist were to come to fruition, that goal of hers will never happen on a personal level. That the pain and suffering that she was always a part of will then be exponentially greater, and that she will never have the opportunity to. I mean, does she even believe that she has the opportunity now? I'm not sure. What I'm wanting from her is a personal. Why is this personal to her? Why is going after Sam personal? Not just on the greater, oh my God, the world could end. Because the reality is, she is a demon. Like, if the world ended, she's not one of the humans that's going to get killed, right? And maybe
it comes down to this question of personal need.
Yeah.
What is the personal thing that I'm trying to either?
What has she been trying to do? Yeah, like in a way, and maybe this goes against some of what we've talked about in the past. And I'll just pitch this out here, and it may not work. And I'm just, but it's the idea that I'm pitching.
Sure.
If Charlize had found a husband in this little town, had found, he had 2 kids and she's adopted those kids essentially. Or if it's not a husband, it's a boyfriend. If she had started to build a life for herself and knowing that what is about to happen will ruin everything that she has worked for 100 years to build, then I get a personal thing of going, this can't happen, because not only will the world be affected, but I will be affected personally. Now, that may fuck her whole arc. So I don't know that that's 100%.
Yeah, I mean,
what it does for me is it gives me what has she been doing for 100 years, and why does she now need to be that person who goes and kills Sam?
Right.
What I like
about that is that it does make something personal. It does make something. Oh, I understand why you would jump in front of the train to push the kids out of the way. I would understand why.
There's also the idea here that Charlize could think and feel that she now has to leave them, and that she ultimately the same thing is happening that has always happened over the last 100 years. The people that she starts to get close to, she brings pain and suffering into their lives. We could find a way that when she goes to boyfriend and says, I have to leave, and it's for your benefit, and the boyfriend's like, for whose benefit? You're not even telling me the truth. What about the kids? They've grown to love you. And that in her, and we could find a way to express this, it's like, this is what always happens because I'm a demon.
Yeah, sure.
But no matter what, even when I try to do the good things, all I bring is hurt. All I bring is pain and suffering. And that she believes that that's because she's a demon. But the truth is, it's because of how human she is. Because she's doing this for them, because she loves them. And Sam and this journey can somehow bring her around to go, actually, people bring pain and suffering to each other too. And a lot of times it's because of how human we are that comes. That's not just because you're a demon. You were trying to do the right thing by them. And is there a way to weave that into her arc to go, she's at a point in 2023 where actually she thinks, maybe I found it. Maybe
I like all of these changes. It's funny. I'm remembering Emma Caulfield's character in Buffy, who was a demon, who ends up marrying Xander in that show, and all the difficulties that may bring over time. I was seeing some moments as you were pitching that too. I think that's really interesting. The other moment I was seeing as you were talking just now was the moment where she's going to decide to not kill Sam. Sam has gotten high. This thing has happened. She is like, oh, fuck, I've done this thing. Charlie's manages to track her down, and she's following her. She's following her, and she's following her. And like Sam's rushing to get somewhere. And we're going, where is she going? Where is she going? She's going to a meeting. And in that meeting, Charlize comes in as well because they're open, comes in, and Sam fucking breaks down. I fucked up. I got high. And Charlize witnesses that, because I feel like there needs to be something emotional and painful.
Well, if Charlize has found love, whether she realizes it or not,
yeah, sure.
And Sam talks about her little brother.
Yeah, totally.
Then there's a real human connection.
Yeah, you're not the Antichrist yet.
Oh, you had a family and you loved them.
Yeah.
And I know what that's like.
Yeah.
And you lost them. And I have felt the pain of loss myself.
Yeah. Cool.
Maybe, now, how to implement those things.
Let's go back and restructure all of that one.
Well, it's not about restructuring.
No,
this is about layering. So when we first meet Charlize right now, it's in a diner. There's two ways to go about it. One, that woman behind the counter could actually be her boyfriend, who is the owner of said diner. Or the manager. I mean, he doesn't have to be anything. He could be just a normal dude.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
So that's number one, a way to kind of establish that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Number two, when she comes home to take the hot bath, before she goes to take her bath, we can meet the kids. We could meet again.
So she lives with them.
She could live with. Well, that's where I'm going. She could live with them.
Other option. She's in the. I like the idea that he works at the diner, and the kids come in after school.
Sure.
And they're all there. We get it in one.
I'd like to see though. So there's two moments that I feel are. I'm sorry, three moments that I feel are important. One, I want to feel a true romantic connection to her and this guy, not just a
weird,
but like a
a
true romantic connection, one that we would not have thought that a demon was capable of. Two, I want to feel a true loving sense with the children. So whether it's her pushing one of them on the swings, or taking them to the playground, or playing with them in a way that a parent plays with their children.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be a long scene, but it should be something, picking them up at school and having snacks ready for them.
We also need to make it really clear that she's not their mom.
Yes, well,
and it's done in the line,
and that's just in dialogue, probably. But there's got to be a way. I want to know that she really truly loves this guy, even if she's just pretending to fake it, like a Dexter who thinks that it's not real, but actually it is real.
Yeah, sure.
Right? I want to know that she loves his kids. Same thing.
Yeah,
she's trying to pretend because she thinks that that's the life she wants, but in pretending, she's actually grown to love them.
Totally.
Then we need the moment, of course, where it should feel like she has the realization that she needs to do this before she actually does it. And what is going to be the way to do it? Maybe it's sneak. If she does live with them, maybe it's sneak out in the middle of the night and not have to go through that again. Maybe, and then she gets confronted by him who catches her on her way out. But I want to see her going, as much as I don't want to do this, after I've been with the demon, how do we visually show her making the choice to leave?
And it being hard.
And then the question of, why does this mean leaving forever?
Yeah, I don't know if it has to mean that. But I think it also might mean I'm going into a very dangerous situation that I might not survive.
Right.
And
if I go and kill someone, if I go and assassinate someone, especially someone that the demons are going to be after, and I also know that Zod is probably here, and this demon has told me and recognized me now. There very easily could be a way for me to believe that she can't be with them because she'd be putting them in danger.
Right.
Even if she's unsuccessful, there's a lot of danger, and she may have to continue to fight for this. And who knows? But if she were to return, regardless, either way, success or not success, if she were to return to them, she could be bringing a world of pain with her.
Yeah, sure.
From the demons who will be angry at her. Or who are trying to stop her from completing her goal.
Sure.
Either way, this is probably goodbye for good with this family that she's formed.
Yeah, for sure.
And, at the end, it'd be nice to see her go back. But it also might be nice to see her away from them, watching them at the same playground.
Yeah, sure, totally. Yeah.
And with Sam and going, I can't go back to them. But Sam going, it doesn't mean that you don't have a family anymore. I'm your family now. Or something like that.
So the reason, just to be clear, that she is going there to go and quote unquote assassinate the Antichrist, is because it's going to save these people.
The people that she cares about specifically would undoubtedly either be enslaved or die if the Antichrist were allowed to come to fruition.
Okay.
She knows the plan of the demons. The plan of the demons is to turn Earth into their domain.
Right.
It's Sauron in the Rings of Power, which I just finished last night.
It's a clever twist in that. Great twist in that final episode.
Wonderful twist.
Yeah.
Very happy by it.
Yeah.
And such a wonderful thing to actually see all of those things coming to fruition.
And it was interesting because they changed the canon a bit too.
Did they change the canon? Oh, by having
I don't do any spoilers here.
No spoilers. Although it's been out for quite a while. I feel like there needs to be like a spoiler, time period whereby
I know, like if it's a month, I think you can start to spoil things. But
I don't know the date that the last one was actually released, so I can't say whether it's been a month or not. It took me a while to get through it.
I think it's been about 3 weeks. Anyway,
go
go ahead and make those changes.
Let's go in and start.
Because again, I think it's ogres are like onions; they got layers.
Yeah.
These are just the layers of our character.
Yeah.
Right then.
So while I'm opening this, I would like Jake's going to do the normal spiel, but one thing that I've noticed one thing that I've noticed is that we've kind of stalled a little bit on adding subscribers to our wonderful stream here, and we would love to have more people engaged in this process and be able to kind of have that. So if anyone has any suggestions as to
and also if you don't subscribe, do that now.
Yeah, that's true.
And if you're watching on Facebook, do us a favor, go ahead and do that on the YouTube channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Just get us visibility is good. Follow us on Twitter. I'm at Jake Thornton. Ben is at Ben_Lustig. We're also on Facebook, Lustig Thornton. So let's go ahead and make those changes then to the earlier scenes. So it's building off a scene that already exists in the diner. The manager there, Ted, is
walks into view. She hasn't aged a day. She goes inside. So in the diner, she has lunch at the counter. So this is going to be more like she sits down at the counter.
Sits down at the counter.
You know.
And I think is a fun way to do it. This is going to be a character reveal moment. Like, oh, last time I saw you, you were doing this. Now I'm seeing you haven't aged a day and you've got a boyfriend.
Yeah, man, I think, and we can reveal that he's her boyfriend in a fun way. He walks over flirtatiously.
Yeah, totally. You know, bad chat up line almost.
Yeah.
You know, like we would we should think he's hitting on her.
Totally.
You know, and then
reveal that he is her boyfriend.
Great. Also that he has kids. There could be a line here or there.
This is very different, obviously. It is changing the darkness of her character, but it doesn't have to completely. She can still be, and I think that's going to be the kind of the elevated version of this character.
I think so too.
How can someone still be a demon?
Yeah.
And also be trying, it's Dexter in that sense.
That's right.
Trying to have a normal life.
Yes.
She, you know, it's clear or partially clear that she's been trying.
Yes.
To find a normal existence.
Yeah.
But these things are in conflict. Because she's a demon. I think it's funny that she still wants the extra black coffee.
Oh, totally. Completely. Yeah. How can you eat it like that?
How do you eat this?
Yes.
You know, she's having lunch at the counter. The news is on. Boyfriend gives her the usual jokes about how gross it is. You know,
then,
you know, on the screen, you see the domestic terrorist attack.
Great.
And that still happened.
There's a weird thing there. There's a weird thing there. There's a knock at the door. It's the cops. Sam and the boyfriend runs. That's just a hangover from when we're moving stuff around. Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I know that we won't think that, but yeah.
The bridge is blown up, yes. All right.
Great.
So from this point, where do the scenes... I feel like before we go back to Sam...
Yeah.
Oh, actually, hold on. Where that's supposed to go is here. Just was in the wrong place.
Gotcha.
Great.
So Charlize's home night, and I think it's
not the bathroom yet.
It's not straight to bathroom. No, but there's a moment before that's just.
Can we have her boyfriend says, "You're picking up the kids, right?" And she says, "No problem." And then we have a moment on the playground before we go to Sam's apartment.
I don't know that I need it. I can see. I'd rather see nice home life, like dinner time. You know, that kind of thing. It's like how can we make the most out of out of the space available. We're still in this kind of sequence one.
I guess, there's a few things. I guess here's my kind of 2 cents on this. If I see a woman pushing a 5-year-old on a swing, right? And the girl's smiling and the woman is smiling and laughing, I immediately understand their relationship. I don't need any dialogue even. I understand.
And I think that's actually what I'm bumping against.
Okay.
Because I liked what you were talking about earlier, which is whereby like I'm doing my best at pretending. Whereas when I see that, I go, that feels like she's their mum. Your comp for Dexter earlier was good. I know Dexter isn't their dad. They don't call him dad. They call him Dexter.
Yeah.
For a start.
Well,
and there's a kind of a slight emotional gap. And I think that's...
But Dexter truly did care for them.
Yeah.
And
it's not about that
you would totally see a Dexter pushing them, a scene of Dexter pushing one on the swing. No question. Because here's my problem with the dinner table. It's just a semantics problem, but I got to have a fucking dinner scene with like chit-chatty conversation. Like what, like it's not, she's not Susie Homemaker.
That's what for me the pushing on the swing does. It feels like I'm in bliss. This is heaven. Oh, I'm in the, and that's not why. It's not where I, as even you were talking about it, seeing where she was. It's like, I'm doing my best. I love this guy. He's got kids. I love the kids to the best of my ability. And I'm trying to do this. And ultimately, when something happens, I leave. Yes, because I do want to preserve and protect this thing. Just trying to weigh that up. I'm just trying to find that way through.
There's also something nice that could happen where, like, let's say it's just one kid. Let's say it's just a...
Sure.
And she picks the kid up at school, which is just a beat.
Yeah.
Kid says, "Hi,
Charlize."
We go, "Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting." Kid goes, "Can we go to the playground?" She's like, "Again? Really? You want to do, isn't it boring?" Like a bit of a cold, like doesn't understand this. She said, "Yes, please." Cut to playground. She's not pushing her. She's sitting on the bench. Kids running, having a blast.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Another mom comes up and sits down next to her. "Is that yours?" And she goes, "Oh, no.
Yeah, cool, great, okay.
My boyfriend's, whatever." Right. And then she's like, "Well, she's really cute." And Charlie's is like, "Yeah, I guess if you like, yeah." Like something funny, like,
yeah, cool, great, okay, cool, great. I like that version. I prefer that version. Yeah.
All right.
Because I get it then. I get that I get layers of that.
She's trying. And also does, I mean, there could be a moment where she does crack a smile and like she is kind of cute. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Great, cool, awesome.
So boyfriend reminds her to pick up
kid
daughter from school, and it should be like a kindergarten age kid,
so that means that mom something happened to that mom.
Divorce,
yeah.
It doesn't matter, we don't need to know. Okay. She calls her by her first name because she's not her real mom. And that was never like, I'm not pretending to be
totally.
So exterior school day. Charlize pulls up to the pickup line. Interior, little, 6-year-olds. Boy or girl?
I quite liked when you said it was a girl.
Girl.
They were a girl. She was
out smiling, jumps in the back car. Interior car. Day. Girl calls her Charlize. She's not the mom. And then asks to go to the playground. which is as boring as it gets for Charlize. She reluctantly says yes.
Yeah.
Says yes. Exterior playground. Day. Girl runs around with other kids. Charlize on bench.
Yeah.
Another mom sits next to her. Asks if the girl is hers. And we get a beat of dialogue that shows a genuine caring for the girl, but also a distance.
Yeah. Great. Cool.
Then we can go, I think, to Sam.
Yes.
And then that night when she comes home, she comes back to their house with the girl. All right, dinner is on, they have a pizza. Dinner's on the table. The boyfriend's there. She's like, I just need a bath or something like that. Go ahead.
Or it's kids are in bed, and
so it's just late and she's just, or maybe the kid, maybe the little girl says goodnight.
Yeah, good night. And
then,
Dad goes in to go and read to her. Charlize gets in the bath.
Sure. So night, Charlize lives with boyfriend and daughter. They watch TV. They watch a Bluey or something like that. Sure. Bluey before bed. Finley's Bluey for Halloween.
Oh yeah.
She was Ray yesterday. No, she's Bluey. They watch a Bluey and it's bedtime.
Yeah.
Boyfriend goes to do bedtime. Bedtime. Charlize says she's going to take a bath.
Great.
And what's nice about this is we get a real sense for what her ordinary life is.
Yeah, sure.
Which is pretending to be normal.
How can we establish it's really, really, really hot in this bath? Now that there's someone else there,
it's boiling.
I can experience that. Geez, how do you do that?
All I need to see is the water boiling.
The water boiling.
I don't think anyone else needs to see it.
But how do you see that the water is very, very hot?
What do you mean? Can't you see that a boiling pot is boiling?
Yeah, but why would it be boiling? My tap water doesn't come out boiling.
Why can't it be boiling? Why can't she have boiling water?
Okay, so here's the question. She has the power to make water boil?
No, it's just emotion over logic. She's brought a fucking electric kettle in. I don't know. It's just she's getting into a bath of boiling water.
Yeah, I'm just asking what's the visual that allows us to see that it's actually
visual
boiling.
Is literally the bubbles on the top of the surface of boiling water and steam. I don't think you need to worry about the fact that boiling water doesn't come out of your tap. She has made a bath of boiling water. That's all that matters. Okay. That's my personal opinion. I think that no one is going to go, well, wait a minute. How did she put boiling water in the bathtub? I think that it's the image is she's getting into a bathtub of boiling water.
Okay.
That's just my personal feeling on it. There are some, that's just one of those. And there's some things where you go, there's a real logic bump, and some things I think you can just let go and just go. She has.
If I was looking at a bath of literally boiling water, I would think that somebody was magic and has the ability to make water boil in a bath. Because that's not what happens in real life. When you turn on a tap, the water doesn't boil inside.
I mean, I don't know what power. We haven't talked about what power.
No, that's what I'm asking. Yeah.
Maybe she does. Maybe does she have hell powers? What are demon powers?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
could be normal.
Could it be interesting? She puts her hand
turn human,
and it boils.
Yeah, maybe.
That's a cool image.
That's cool.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, that means that she can. I mean, does she have the ability to control fire? I mean, is there a hell-ish power that they have? If that's the case, I'd want to see it all the way back in the action scene above.
Yeah, sure.
But that's a really good place to stop. We need to know what our demon's powers are.
What are demon powers? Good stuff.
Excellent.
All right, great. I think we've made really interesting progress on actually deepening her character through other characters.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm going to add a note here, just to say, talk about demon powers. What can Charlize do and not do? We talked about a little bit about their vulnerabilities, but it isn't. They are supernatural beings.
Yes.
So
yeah,
theoretically, I mean, we know that demons can possess people, at least certain types of demons. That's our belief anyway.
Totally.
But I don't think we go into like full on. I don't know that possession helps us in this particular.
Yeah, I'm not sure it does either, because I don't need them to look human, because they look human already.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right. Well,
this Ben.
Good. Thanks everyone for watching and listening.
And Ben, thank you.
And thank you, Jake and Ben's excellent adventure. All right.
All right, dude.
Have a good Monday, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye. How do I leave?